Well, welcome to another edition of GW Unspoken, where we discuss stuff we don't typically talk about, but we probably should. And I've got two very special guests on the line. I've got one person across from me. Tim, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, and I've got Sam on the line. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, good. Glad to be here.
Well, it's our privilege, actually. We're going to get into speaking about you in a moment and what the great attractions coming up here in Redcliffe on the peninsula. But first of all, I want to drill down on Tim. Tim, can you just let us know just a brief of your position and where you are at the moment?
Yeah. So on the Redcliffe Peninsula, I'm connected into Redcliffe Uniting Church and Uniting Care, and my role here is youth and community chaplain. And so I get involved in lots of different community events. Yesterday we had a technology safety day, lots of stuff around the homelessness and mental health, and supporting the community however I can. So.
Yeah, also, and we've known each other for probably a couple of years now, and people out there who's listening will know that he's a very humble man. He doesn't like accolades very much about himself, but does a massive amount for the community, a lot off his own bat, which is huge. But let's talk about today.
Yep.
You've invited us in today to talk about Sam Jockel, and give us a brief rundown about what's happening there, and maybe we can quiz Sam about what's going on there.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, so I've known Sam for a number of years, almost just over 20 years, and seeing some of the work that Sam's done has been really inspiring. And we don't have time today to go through all of the different entrepreneurial ventures that Sam's done, but also, contributing and supporting the community and knowing Sam's family for a long time as well. When the vision of this documentary that Sam's been working on, I got to know about this. It was like, this is such an important topic, such an important message that we've got to dive into, and I just wanted to support it as much as we can. So we've been on a bit of a journey over the last how long would it be, Sam? Probably about 10 months of bringing together a whole bunch of different projects and activities and ideas, and really looking forward to the screening this weekend.
And Sam, we just want to get you involved here and talk about, so we'd love to hear some dirt on Timmy. We'll leave that to another time, but you're coming here, I believe, on Saturday, and you're going to be screening and launching the Scene film. So do you mind just taking us a bit around that?
Yeah, no worries. So, I mean, Scene is probably a piece of work that was 2 years in the making to actually produce the documentary, but sometimes I say maybe 17 years in the making since I became a parent myself. Yeah. And we looked at about, 3 months ago now, to, I guess, the public. And I mean, since then, we started with kind of 15 across the country, and we've now had over 300 community screenings, and I think over 30,000 parents have seen the film. And really, it was a big piece of work, very centred on, parenting, but really looking at it through a different lens. And so not only am I the producer of Scene, but I also founded a company about 10 years ago called Parent TV, and that is a little bit like Netflix for parenting resources. And there's over 2,000 videos on that platform, but they're just kind of 5-minute videos, really just answering questions parents are asking about parenting. And it was through that journey of, founding Parent TV, probably having 3 children myself that are now 17, 15 and 11, that I really started to see there was more going on than just how our kids were behaving that was shaping what was happening for our kids. And I think, a lot of the narrative around parenting, a lot of the content around parenting for a really long time was very much focused on our children and their behaviour and trying to get them to behave differently often, so we didn't have to feel our feelings around that. But this documentary is really, bringing to the light of day and a different lens of what does it mean to look at parenting, and actually looking at us as the parents and our behaviour rather than being focused on the child. And really that piece of work around kind of understanding how did we get here, or and a little bit of what happened to us as kids as well, and how that might be showing up in kind of family dynamics. And really, if we really want to help our kids, the first place we have to start is actually really supporting and helping ourselves as a parent. So it's a bit of a conversation about that, I think, and just really bringing to the light of day, what does that mean? How does that work? And that piece around healing, kind of generational trauma. Yeah. And it's, really resonated. Like the documentary we've won awards, we've been in festivals. Like those 300 screenings have literally been driven by people in community, similar to what Tim's doing here in Redcliffe. But the beautiful thing about this film in Redcliffe is, like, I'm the producer of the film, and I live in Redcliffe, have done so for 20 years, and 3 of the parents out of 4 of the parents in the film actually live in Redcliffe too. Oh, nice. And like half of the film was filmed in Redcliffe. So when people see it, I mean, for me, that really, this is our place. This is our lives. These are our people. And, I'm excited to be able to have the screening tomorrow here. This is the first actual screening in Redcliffe, I believe, that we've had, as a place where, so much of this story is actually real to this place.
So good. And I guess the way you talk to me at the moment, or talking to us at the moment, is it feels like, when you go on the plane and they say that you have to look after yourself first when the oxygen mask comes down to make sure you can help those around you. And that's sort of the message I'm sort of getting about that parent wellbeing. If you don't mind me asking, I'd love to know the passion, the drive. Like, where did Parent TV originate? Like, why did you start founding these programs? What was the thing that inspired you to do that?
Yeah. Sometimes I think I've done businesses my whole life, kind of never actually worked for anybody, ironically. That's my new, curiosity. Having a job, but that's a whole other thing. I think somewhere in my brain, the businesses I've always run have also somehow been connected to a problem I'm trying to solve in my life. So I've just been very efficient in going, this thing needs my attention, and I don't know how to give it my attention with all the other things I have to do in my life. Oh, I know how. Turn it into a business. Yeah. Because then it's your work, and also it's this problem that you're trying to solve. And I think early on, when I had children and I became a mother, I do actually feel like something wasn't right. And there was always something within me that was like, there's something I don't understand here that's really important, and I really need to give that my attention. I don't think it was like a super conscious thing for me at that time. I really honor that, Sam, because I'm like, that was amazing that you knew enough to do something and you had no idea what you didn't know that I know now 20 years down the line. So I'm like, I liked her. She went after trying to solve problems, and really had no idea what she was getting herself into or what she was about to uncover in, caring about this. So I think to be honest, I think it really started with me trying to,
as a mother.
Yeah, and knowing this job that I have is really important, and acknowledging on some level I need help. And I think I projected that onto other people, people are, the truth is I think it started with, I can see that people are really struggling and need help with this. I'm good at helping people, I'll do something. And which landed with, I actually was really struggling and needed help with this. Yeah. And once I realized this was my work to do and I did that, that's, I feel like the work I do now is much healthier because I just see more clearly what's going on. But yeah, I think I just realized early on this was really important. And if I've learned anything through all the research and all the work that we've done and the documentary, I was actually right. The foundational brain building blocks of humanity, of us as of our kids and of us is actually embedded in the parent-child relationship. And it's heavy to actually say that because that's a big responsibility and something that I think hasn't been really clear, but is becoming clearer in terms of some of the research and what we're just starting to unpack and discover about the importance of that. And I think, like, with two working parents now often out, and the shift in what that environment looks like for our kids, we are actually starting to see the impact of that now in terms of this big wave of kids with lots of mental health issues going on and a whole range of different things. And I think part of what's happening is we're starting to see that was an important role. There's an important thing going on there that we kind of missed because as society we tend to not really value things that aren't productive and don't make money. And we have to really face, what does that mean? That there's actually these really important things that if we don't get right, the consequences are actually quite substantial, and like a rethinking needs to happen around that. I mean, I think that's all part of the conversation, but I don't know. I think I just trusted myself early on, to be honest, that there was more going on here that needed my attention, and I don't know. And we're starting to see that's true. Like, our kids need something from us that they don't know how to ask for in the right ways. When they're not getting it, it often comes at us in, behaviours that say you're the problem. This kid is a problem, and it's like, no, it's actually something going on behind that. And it's our job as the adults to try and help them understand that rather than just get angry at them for that.
Sam, you've been courageous your whole life. You have dived into a whole bunch of stuff headfirst with a lot of bravery and a lot of courage. And just hearing you share some of that, some of your story and some of the vision and the message behind some of this, the scene film, it does take courage. And seeing the film, the four parents that are involved in this show so much courage, so much bravery, not just sharing their story and being so vulnerable with some of their experiences in parenting, but to go on that journey of growth, personal growth and healing and transformation for themselves and their families. So I'm wondering if you can reflect on that, and also I guess the people that are going to come and watch this screening tomorrow, Saturday afternoon. There is an element of, it does take a lot of courage to dive into your own childhood trauma or your own coping mechanisms and a whole bunch of stuff. And so, can you reflect on that, of that bravery that's required from the parents involved in the film, but also the parents that will come and see the film?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think this is the biggest and hardest piece of work that any of us can do, really, in terms of really being honest about what happened to you first and how that felt and what that resulted in, and then at the same time holding maybe how you pass that on, because we pass it on, and unless we acknowledge it, then it's just passed on. Because we're just running that without the acknowledgement of it. And it's often in the lead. And I mean, the three parents in the film, like, part of the reason they're from Redcliffe is because, they're people I know. They were my friends. They were the heroes in my world of people that I knew, everyday parents, they weren't well resourced, who were brave enough to face the flames of, the hard stuff, the pain, the shame. And I witnessed them over years do that. And I guess I watched TV like everybody else and always see these heroes of stories with all the things and all the celebrity. And I'm like, no, I think there's more going on. I think there are actually amazing heroes out there who nobody even knows who they are. Some of them I know. And, you know, it felt like a privilege to be able to shine a light on some of those people who I feel like are actually extraordinary, brave and courageous humans, but also wanted to show people what's possible, that these people are just like the rest of us. In some ways, there's nothing special about them, but there's nothing special about any of us that isn't about them, but we're all just in this together. And I feel like for me, this movement is a little bit like Me Too. Like, it's every single one of us. It's not like there's nothing wrong with any individual. And I think when you start to get your head around, it's all of us and we've all been hurt and hurt other people. It takes the power away from thinking there's something wrong with me while everybody else is fine, because I think a lot of people feel like that it's just them. Yeah. But the more people talk about it and bring it up, it kind of creates a container and a scaffolding where it gives all of us permission together to say kind of Me Too, and then the power of often what is holding us back or what is in the lead and driving us to sometimes not be at our best starts to break, and we can do that together. And so, I don't know, I just encourage people. The film is really filled with a lot of compassion and a lot of hope. So, you know, the feedback that we've had about it has been, you know, there's a lot of truth-telling and people have liked that. And sometimes truth-telling can be quite heavy, but held at the same time as those truths are also so much compassion and so much hope and so much possibility, and it's all in there. And I just say that's the full human experience. Like, we can't cherry pick just the good bits. And when we try, we just get taken over by the bad bits. Like, part of our job is to understand what does it mean to be human. And it means love and joy and shame and grief and jealousy, and it's all of it. Like, it's all of it for all of us. And it's about welcoming it and leaning into the hard rather than just trying to say, not those bits, just these ones. Because that, like, you are to think that you have, to think that you can control that is like the ultimate lie of all, that none of us are actually in control of any of it in a way. Life will happen to us, and our job is to welcome it rather than try and control it. And so, yeah, I don't know, there's just lots in there. The doco, yeah, it's just a beautiful story of 4 parents who said, who were honest and open and courageous and vulnerable, and it shows what's possible and what's on the other side of doing that. And I think, you know, those are the stories that inspire me, and we've put that out in the world to, I guess, hopefully inspire others too.
Yep, that's great. One of the first things I can remember when I saw it for the first time and thinking it is confronting as you dive into your own experience, as you're watching it and thinking about reflecting on your own life and parenting. But there was this one line at the very end that was that hope, that there's always hope that you can change the situation, or you can change the course that you're on. And yeah, so it is a fantastic documentary, very, very well done, but it does provide some amazing hope that we can change the course and find personal growth and healing that can impact our families.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm
So,
looking
so
forward
sorry.
to-
Yeah, I'm looking forward to me, and also coming from a local, I can't get better than that. So, and obviously we appreciate your time, Sam, for coming on the podcast at such late notice, but also we can promote to the community to get people out here to actually, to actually understand their own journey, to maybe give them some tips and tricks, and to realise that that word hope, but also that we are all just learning, and to be the best person we can, we do have to look after ourselves. So
Yeah.
I can't wait. So Saturday, it's all on here at 3 p.m. at 1 Richmond Street at Redcliffe. Can't wait to meet you. And Tim, you'll be here obviously to help on the ground and welcome everybody in. And there's a Q&A as well.
Yeah, so if people wanted to arrive from 2:30 onwards, we're going to have some food and you can register from 2:30 onwards. Screening will start at 3. And then we'll have a Q&A with Sam and some of the parents before some food at the end. So fantastic event tomorrow afternoon. And if I can just acknowledge the work of Uniting Care, some of the Redcliffe team have put this together along with some of the people from the Redcliffe Uniting Church and Community Hub, and also thanks to the City of Moreton Bay for financial grant that has made this possible to be free.
Yeah, fantastic. And Sam, I just want to thank you also for getting Tim on the podcast. I've tried for 2 years, but since you've come along, we've eventually got him on. I've got a couple of pictures of him so you can see it's actually him across from right now. But
Be the start of something new.
Exactly right. He's a natural. But Sam, can't wait, and love your wealth of knowledge. Love how you talk from the heart, and even humble enough to talk about how it's come from your own beginnings, where obviously you've delved in, yes, to make a business out of it, but it's out of your passion to be a better parent and also to serve others. So it's just beautiful. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for the chat.
Look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.